With new gaming franchises popping up every corner, and old ones getting remastered, and then re-remastered, and then re-remastered, producers are finding it harder and harder to break that barrier of creativity that makes their game stand out like an edgy 14-year-old going, hey, I'm different than other games. While there are a lot of games that give you that giddy, on the edge of your seat experience, I think we can all agree that veteran gamers have found themselves being left unsurprised more and more. Personally, I blame Elden Ring for setting the bar way too high, but let's not get into that. What's important is games are having a hard time standing out, and to that, I say, musical games. No, not like the chair game you played when you were little. We all know you sucked at that. I mean games that incorporate music into the very foundation of the game. Beat Saber, Metal Hellsinger, Rhythm Doctor, Crypt of the Necrodancer? Is that a real game?
These games all use music and rhythm in one way or another to build the whole game around the beat. You don't need to be a music geek to appreciate just how cool that is. Which brings me to the main point of this video. We're going to be talking about Hi-Fi Rush, a game by Tango Gameworks, which takes that idea of using music to make the concept for a game and ramps it up to 1000%. Not only making a concept for a game out of the music, but making the music the soul and heart of this game. In the case of our nerdy and unassuming protagonist, that is too literal. So come join us as we look at how Hi-Fi Rush creates a perfect harmony of gameplay and music.
Also, quick side note, since our last two video essays were pretty spoiler heavy, we tried making this video as spoiler free as possible to encourage you all to get this game for yourself. Everything you see on screen is taken from the first hour of this game. Anyways, back to the video. Let's start off simple, or at least as simple as we can get, and talk about the player's first introduction to the world of Hi-Fi Rush. From the moment you load up this game to the moment you close it, music is playing constantly. You'll notice quick enough a theme that makes this music game a little different than others. Everything moves to the beat. Let that sink in for a minute, because I genuinely can't stress how important that is to remember when going into this game. Everything moves to the beat. If you're still confused, you'll see what I mean soon enough. Anyways, you're dropped into this first level. Walls are moving to the beat. Your character steps to the beat. NPCs, you guessed it, move to the beat. And by the time you get into the first combat tutorial, you stop seeing things like they're the ones moving to the beat, but instead as if the game is making the music itself. Just look at these gates shutting. God damn, tell me that isn't the sexiest sounding gate you've ever heard. I'd be so good to you, Gate. What was I saying? Oh, yeah. The fact that the developers take the time to make everything on screen with the intention of making it move to the music, even when it doesn't necessarily add anything in terms of gameplay value, makes the whole game feel like it's alive, like it's part of the music. There's no better example of this than these hilarious little robots having an argument/dance-off.
I told you to check that generator. You had one job. You set me up. What? Rekka will destroy both of us if we run behind. Well, someone fixed it, so stop yelling at me!
But with every good thing comes an equally stressful one. Platforming to the beat. Yeah, sadism is alive and well, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sure I'm one of the few who struggle with these, but oh my god, you never realize how rhythmically impaired you are until your arch enemy becomes an actual 2D square. You may think at first glance that all this might be a lot to manage at once when you're trying to play a game, but the reality is, because everything synchronizes to the beat, as long as you yourself are able to stay on that tune, everything can be anticipated. And trust me, if you're struggling with the rhythm in this game,
Moving walls and laser discos are gonna be the least of your worries.
Let's talk about my favorite part in any video game.
Bashing robot faces into metal pulps!
Combat. Remember the golden rule. Everything moves to the beat. Enemies are no strangers to that. Shots, slashes, charges, all move to the beat. And if you want to stay alive, you gotta dodge to the beat. With a lot of enemies, you can get overwhelmed very easily. Yeah, it's just like high school, only this time you're getting bullied by the orchestra. It's like a high school that does music in some musical way, like a high school opera house. Yeah, that's it. The whole point of the game is to play to the beat, and there's nothing that shows that more than combat. When you fight, you deal more damage to enemies and their stun bars the more on beat you are with everything. Not just attacks, but jumps and dodges as well. Being on beat helps, but being creative with what you use and when you use it is a big chunk of the combat. You can hold attacks for a beat and release it on the next one, creating a whole different string of attacks. Each combo comes with its own finisher, a special timed attack at the end of the combo that hits just the right euphoria receptors to make you think you can be a musician. What I loved most about the combat was how encouraging they made it to just experiment with different button inputs to see what they do, rather than shoving a manifesto titled move list into your face. The only times I ever had to open the combo list was when I did a cool combo and went to myself, oh shit, what did I press? It might just be me, but I feel like most AAAs that come out today don't bother taking that extra step to making discovering these combos on your own intuitive. So I really do appreciate that part of the combat. And of course, we can't finish off before talking about bosses. As I mentioned earlier, this will be a spoiler-free video, so everything you're seeing is from the first level of the game, including the boss. But let me just say, playing this game just for the bosses is worth it in of itself. Every boss has their own unique fight music, which again, they move and fight to, adding a whole new layer of uniqueness to every boss. It is such a treat to play through in all honesty. I won't say much more because I do think you should try this for yourself. But from the gameplay of the metal death friend that you see on screen, you can tell that Tango Gameworks are not ones to shy away from spectacle. To sum things up, the reason why I wanted to make this video was because I was so pleasantly surprised the first time I played this game. It can be really hard to turn your game into something special and unique, especially with so many top dog titles that have unironic cult followers crucifying people who didn't like the game as much as they did. It is understandably frustrating trying to stand out. But despite that hurdle, Hi-Fi Rush truly and honestly blew my mind. From the absolutely beautiful art style, the story and characters being actually interesting, to the combat, astounding. To top it all off, not only do they do the fundamentals of game design very well, but to make every part of that game's design synchronized to the music is so simplistic, yet so creative and fun to see firsthand. The use of music and sound within this game is unlike anything I've ever seen before, which is saying a lot. No words can truly do it justice, so if you somehow couldn't tell, I highly recommend trying this game out for yourself. If you liked this video, make sure to show your support by smashing that like button. And if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. We're going to be reviewing Jedi Survivor and the Burning Shores DLC for Forbidden West this month, so make sure to stick around. As always, thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.